Having now finished all the tests on the Apexmaker X1, I can actually get down to doing something that's a little closer to home. Games Workshop are releasing a new game, Legions Imperialis, in the next month or so, and I don't have any terrain for it because it's a format that hasn't been around for decades. What I'm going to try and do is print an entire table's worth of terrain in an afternoon. This afternoon, however, I'm just going to be doing a test run to see how quick this will run. These two pads were built in advance on Windows 3D Builder. They were then printed on the Frozen Mighty 8K, each taking, it was either 7 or 8 hours to do. These two models weren't built in advance, they were printed in bits and assembled afterwards. I believe these were between 5 and 6 hours again on the Frozen Mighty 8K. Each of these was an individual build, so that's about 24 to 30 hours worth of printing right in front of us. I've just finished slicing 3 of these landing pads, which, as I mentioned earlier on, took 7 to 8 hours to print on the Frozen Mighty 8K. I'm just going to move over to the print time. We have an expected print time of 48 minutes. I'm going to put that on now. The file is saved onto USB. Let's get this started. And now it's done its checks, we can go. Now that we've finished with the burn-in layers, a chance to see how quickly it runs on normal layers. We had 4 burn-in layers and 4 transition layers at 40 seconds. And these are at 1.2 seconds. As you can see, it's rattling through. That's the print completed at 1 hour and 10 minutes. Got 3 pads, which would have taken 21 to 24 hours to print on the Frozen. Do have a lack of adherence to the build plate there. That, however, is my fault. I did not clean the plate with ISO before I started. We do have 2 perfect prints, however. And here's the pad post cleaning and curing. I think you'll agree that the details are nice and crisp. I should mention these files have come from grimdarkterrain.com. I've been subscribing for about 2 years now. This is one of their older files as well. Happy with the quality, so I'm going to move on to Saturday, where I'm going to try and print a whole board in a day. Well, today's Saturday and we're going to get this board in a day build done. So first off, we got preps. First thing we're going to do is clean the build plates. Just going to rub some ISO over it to just get rid of any grease. I found with this resin, the fast resin, it is a bit greasy itself, so I prefer to clean the plate between uses. We're going to fill the vat up with 1 litre of high-speed resin. We're then going to turn on the pump so that we've got a constant flow of resin going in throughout the day. We just want the initial one because, well, it just looks good.
Look how thin that is.
It's so thin, it's pouring like milk.
Oh.
I think the most we put in here is about 1 3/4 kilo. Because the speed the plate goes up and down, it's going to splash everywhere if you put any more on. So just less than 2 kilos, and then have the siphon, the pump running is your best way to ensure that you don't get resin everywhere. So now that's full, we will get the memory stick. This is the one that was provided with the machine. Nice SanDisk for a change. This goes into the side here, one of 2 USB slots. Either one will do. There we go. So we're going to turn the pump on, and then we're going to go and do the file. And this one is GDT1, which isn't on that screen. You need to scroll a little bit. A bit more. Other way. That's 3 at the top. 2, 1. There we go. So you press play, and as the other day, you've got a few menus that we just print directly. And it does some checks for you. Once checks are complete, you press the play button and off we go. And the print has just finished. It's come out nicely. There you go, see all the parts. I'm going to scrape those off the plate, get them in some ISO and start the next print. And the thing I forgot to mention is the time to print. That is 1 hour 14 minutes. The second print has finished. That's 52 minutes gone by. I have previously printed these files on my Saturn in multiple batches, and that was 9 hours. And I wasn't able to get quite as many on as I have here, so I think that's a bit of an improvement. And there's the fourth print, 1 hour 14 minutes. Got lots of little trucks, forklift trucks, wheels, and a couple of lids for, I don't know, silos of some kind. I've finished assembling everything that I'm going to be painting, and what we have here is the product of 6.5 hours worth of printing. I have a box of bits. I didn't print enough wheels off for all these trucks, so that's the next order of business, but I won't be including that in the video. With these landing pads, when I did the test prints, I printed them on this angle, and I found there was a little bit too much suction force on the side and it was distorting it. That was a 1 hour 10 print. What I ended up doing was angling them this way to reduce the suction force, and it did take 2 hours, but the quality of the prints ended up being a lot higher. So there we have 6.5 hours worth of printing. My final thoughts, it's going to take me a lot longer than 6.5 hours to get all those pieces painted. I'm really impressed with the speed and the quality of this machine. A lot of people would say that speed isn't really that necessary in sort of the miniatures market. In general, maybe I would agree. You know, printing individual miniatures, it doesn't really matter if it takes you sort of 3-4 hours. However, a project like this, trying to build an entire board in a short space of time, I think the speed plus the quality together are absolutely fantastic, and I would definitely recommend this machine.